Last episode, we built a high clearance bumper for our Tacoma, and somehow it actually worked. Today, we're making it way more complicated by adding a full swing arm. And if this thing doesn't sag, rattle, or fall off, I'll call that a win. All right, time to work on the swing arm. So these are 3/4 inch Heims. If you buy a kit, make sure it's not right hand and left hand thread this thing that we'll use to latch the swing arm. But either way, this is that 3.5 inch quarter wall, or 3.5 inch wide, quarter wall thick flat stock, 2x2 quarter wall, and that's going to be the arm. This is going to be the bracket that goes here, that's going to have that hole in it for that 3/4 bolt. The Heims will be here. That thing will swing out. It'll make sense in a little bit. One of the things that I've had trouble with before when I've done this is not being able to spin these. So the adjustment of your swing arm depends on where these jam nuts are. And you need to be able to turn that entire Heim to adjust it. So at a bare minimum, these need to be probably 1.75 inches apart. But I'm gonna do 2-inch spacing from center to center on these. All right, so I've just got this set up here. This isn't where it'll go. It'll actually sit. The bottom will be about right here or something in this area. So you can kind of see it. So I've made this. That's what the 2 holes that I drilled were. This is sort of my version of Coastal Off-Road's swing arm setup. I'm definitely copying this. I am not the author of this, but this is my version of it, and it's worked pretty well in the past. I'm gonna cut those 2 pieces now. All right, those little pieces I cut, they're gonna go in and gusset this. Then I'm gonna clean that up with a flap wheel, and then that part will be done. All right, so I hope this kind of makes sense now. This, if it was on that bolt, this would kick that up, right? It makes it adjustable. Okay, so I'm gonna end up cutting this right here. I just did some mock-up. I think this is right. I'm gonna go ahead and, so see, I've got 2 of them clamped together on the table, even though this one's short. What I'm trying to do is really verify. I really want my holes to be very straight and in line with each other, or otherwise you just get kind of a wonky swing arm. All right, so my thought is one of these is gonna go about here. It's gonna sit on top. And the reason I'm gonna do that is because then I can get a weld here and a weld here. And it seems like it'd be stronger than just welding it to the face, right? Is I'm gonna take this one, and wherever this one lands on top, I'm gonna pull this one down on this angle and recess it the same depth. And that's gonna build me some room in here to be adjustable. I ended up assembling this And this is how I did it. I did one solid spacer in the bottom. I want to keep it up about in line with the bottom of that, or like the bottom of this in line with the top of the bumper, kind of. And then I'll get a lock nut for this at some point, but there just wasn't a lot to choose from at the store the other day. I haven't cut my length yet, and I went ahead and assembled it. Here's a couple of photos of the dimensions of my brackets that I built. So here in a little bit, we'll take this off, rotate this heim, turn it all the way over, and that will extend the length here and then bring that up. So I want to tack that on there well enough that the tire's not going to break it off while I'm playing with it. All right, so this piece, it actually happens to be the piece I just cut off of here, worked out to be 16 inches. We're 44 inches on the swing arm from one end to the other. I marked about 16 inches from the end of my heims to the outside face of this. That should move it an inch or two that direction, because what I'm trying to do right now is not block this tail light with that tire. Hammer. It's a welder's hammer. It's a pretty unique tool. It could also be that tape measure. It could be that pencil, but it's not going to work great. But a welder's hammer is usually whatever thing is closest to their hand. All right, I like that. Give her a little heat. Cut that about 5.5 inches long to the angle. I think this is going to be too long, but I didn't want to short myself. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to lay out roughly the center of this, weld it to it, and then weld it to here, and then we're going to set a tire on it, and we're going to look at it, and we're probably going to hate it and cut this off and do it again, but it'll give us an idea what we're working with. This is the part where it's going to break off and smush my toes. Made up measurements for the wind. That's pretty close. I think what I'm going to do is pop that back off of there and make that angle a little more steep. Bring the bottom of that tire in. I'd like to bring it in maybe 2.5 inches. Lift with your back, jerking motion. You didn't know it was also a fitness channel, did you? The old CrossFit. I like that a lot. I like it a lot. All right, so I ended up adjusting the heim out one thread to bring this arm up. So right now, you can see everything's tight down there. The nut's on, everything's tight. I've got one lug nut started up here. So we've got the weight of this. It's a little floppy, but that doesn't change what it's doing. So I don't want this to be sitting low where it hits the bumper every time. We want to put some kind of stop in here where it's high every time. And then when we hit that latch, we're gonna push up on it and it's gonna pry down. So I've got kind of a rough idea what that's gonna look like. So it'll sit like this. So you can see we've got to build something to take up this space that we can then either bolt or weld this to. All right, so I didn't have any more of this 2x2, or I would have cut this out of that. But instead I made it out of 2x3 and just cut it. This is some of this flat plate we made the sides with. And it was just a drop piece. I'm gonna go ahead and tack that in there. We're gonna see what it looks like. All right, so I think we're gonna roll with something kind of like this. I didn't go crazy tight on this, and the reason is because the latch is strong enough, I think, to pop these tack welds off, and that's gonna stop this from swinging too far. So I'm gonna mark this, cut it, tack it, and then we're gonna start burning stuff hard. All right, so I've got a weld here yet, but I was getting to the point where I needed to put this piece in to make the cap. So I went ahead and cut a piece. That's just a 3.5 inch piece of the 2 inch. And I'm just gonna weld it in here, grind it down, and then do all the sides of this. I just thought I'm gonna show you any piece that I cut and put in. I'm also gonna cut a gusset, a little triangle piece for under here. Gotta get my gloves on, I'm gonna burn my finger. But it's just gonna go in there. You'll see I got a little notch because I already welded that. So that'll just get welded in there. And then the only other piece that I think I'm gonna do for this is I got a piece, and it can be any material. It can be this 2x2. This is, that's maybe 1.25 inches. All right, these tubes I made are actually, they used to be the scrub bars. They used to be the front bars on the Tacoma, and I took them off. And so I hacked them up and tacked them in place. I'm not sure if I'll keep them. This is just kind of a rough mock-up. Just wait for that to dry. Look at that. How good a painter am I? Dang, that's incredible. All right, I'm super stoked on this high clearance rear bumper build. It's been a ton of fun to build. I'm excited I've been able to share it with you guys, and let's go ahead and break down the costs of it. So the main part of the bumper here, I know in the last video it says that it was about $375. That's a repeatable number. That was a place I could find online that had inventory, could make me a quote that I could take a screenshot of. The reality of this is that I bought it at a local welding shop. I bought all this material, not used, but as scraps. And I have total in the main area of the bumper about $180 in material. And then the latch, the Heim hardware, the shackle hangers, the hitch, everything like that. And then the 2x2 quarter wall that we used for the arm on the bumper cost me about another $100. And then I also have maybe $40 in consumable items like flap wheels, sanding pads, cutting wheels. But overall, I'm super stoked on the way this thing worked out. Oh, I'm glad I parked it in here far enough away from the wall. If you wanted to make one of these your own, you could do a second swing arm over here. You could have gas cans. You could incorporate 2 latches into this same area. You can make this very much your own. My goal with this video is to make something repeatable. So I wanted something that folks out there could kind of follow along, maybe not make the exact thing. If you want to, that's great. Feel free to drop a question in the comment section. If you have any questions that I didn't cover as thoroughly as I could have, it was a kind of a fine line between making the video 9 hours long and making it entertaining. I could have showed every single step of it. I don't know that you would have enjoyed it. I hope you did enjoy this. So that's where we're at. We're going to catch you on the next episode, which is the unbox and install of this Ibex bed rack.